This is the PPC Tutor Podcast. Join us as we provide valuable tools, tips and resources, helping you to kickstart your PPC career.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this podcast episode. My name is Mike, and today I'm going to be talking about automation in Google Ads. So the question I'm going to be answering is, will automation in Google Ads kill the PPC specialist? Now, I've had a few people asking me this question, and I've thought about it, and it's an interesting question because there's a lot that has been happening on PPC platforms like Google Ads. A lot of automation has come in the last 5 to 10 years. And when I started with Google Ads many years ago, over 13 years ago, a lot of the things we're doing was manually. So setting up ads, setting up keywords, bidding and so forth was done manually on the whole. But a lot of things have changed over the years. The PPC platforms have become more complicated. There are more bidding strategies, a lot more competition, and obviously a lot more people searching, which really changes things because it means there's a lot more work that's required to set up and manage campaigns. You often have to spend hours sometimes setting up your campaigns, even just spending time managing them so that you can get the best performance out of them. So the question is, what's automation really about? Now, automation is something that's been around for many years in different industries. It's not something new in technology and even internet technology. It's been there around for a long time. We often see automation in warehouses, in the automotive and manufacturing industries, and it's also become a part of PPC and digital marketing. In fact, automation really is the future and is changing the future, and there's no denying it. You go to grocery shopping, you use self-checkouts, and even ordering food through McDonald's and all these other things is automated. Sometimes you don't even really speak to anyone except just picking up your order and getting out. And that's really becoming more common in various industries, including PPC and digital marketing. In fact, there's a report that came out in 2018 saying about 133 million jobs are going to be created by 2022 because of automation. And that's interesting and that's great, because sometimes people fear that automation is just gonna wipe out jobs. We think of the Industrial Revolution, where there were a lot of protests and people were fearful that they were losing their jobs as they moved from cottage industries to mills and factories and so forth. So there is a lot of fear about automation taking away a lot of those jobs, whether it's machine learning, artificial intelligence, and so forth. And the internet, is no exception. And, as a PPC specialist, especially if you're looking to get into the industry, is it really worth getting in now? Is it going to be a case that in 5 or to the next 10, 20 years, PPC specialists are not going to be needed, and machines are just going to be doing the bidding, placing the ads, and so on and so forth? In fact, now, even for highly creative online jobs, like copywriting that requires, that creativity, you often see some platforms creating ads that are quite effective. The robots put together an ad based on content, based on past history and knowledge of customers and so forth, putting ads together that target people. And some of them achieve good click-through rates, some of them achieve high conversion rates, and we cannot get away from that. But there are things that humans can do that machines cannot do, and that's true for almost all industries out there, and it's very true for PPC. It's total rubbish. I've heard people saying that machines are better than humans at about 80% of PPC work and stuff, and that's rubbish. The human element is important, especially the creative side. When it comes to PPC advertising and so forth. What I really like is some of the statements that Google has brought out, and based on their research and looking at the human element and the machines, they've found that a combination of the two is actually much more effective. So don't just allow the system to run and set up your ads. You can if you want, but that's not as effective as when you're using your input into it. And don't just set up campaigns and ads and so forth and just do it all manually, setting bids manually. That will take up a lot of your time. It's gonna mean you are less efficient in managing your ads and less effective. There are many decisions that need to happen in split seconds. A lot of the decisions can happen at auction time without you actually having put your input before, which could affect that. So a lot of bidding decisions. So sometimes competitors' ads are changing, their bids are changing, and so the system can make some of those changes for you at auction time and save you a lot of time and just make it more effective. But you also need to put your input. You need to decide, which bid strategy you're going to go with, even if it's an automated one. And there's different ones around that. You're going to have to set your goals and your objectives. The machine can't do that for you. So your initial input is important and your ongoing input is key. And because of that, it's very, and it's really proving that the human element in advertising and PPC campaigns is far much more important than ever. Years back, maybe 5 or 7 years, when automation was becoming the thing in PPC, people were just thinking, by 2022, we're not going to be running any ads. But I can tell you today that we're actually spending possibly a lot more time managing our campaigns, and we are seeing better results because we're using the automation side, and we're also putting our own input into running the campaigns. And the truth is, there's a lot more data out there. There's a lot more people advertising, a lot more information. So it's made it harder, but it's also made it slightly easier because the automation side, the machine learning, is becoming better and better and better. But we still need to put our input. Many times when you see some of the ads that are created by the machine, they look good because they're based on historic data, based on performance, or even the content on the website. But they always require somebody to go in and maybe tweak one or two things to really make them more effective, to make that click-through rate better, to make those conversion rates better. So that's really key. And based on that, my take on it is that PPC specialists are going to be needed even more in the next 5 or 10 years. There's going to be a lot more data that's coming out. As a PPC specialist, you're going to need to put in more of your time into setting up your campaigns and managing them. And the great thing is when you use the automation side, you're going to see even better performance because that's really key. You need that. And talking about the actual automator in Google Ads, there's different ways, obviously, that you can use automation. You've got dynamic search ads, which create headlines for you automatically based on people's search terms, based on keywords. You also have a lot of automation in things like shopping. So as people are shopping, it's really hard to always be on it and on top of it, and the system can actually adapt your images and your titles and so forth based on what people are searching for. So there's automation in that. In fact, Google has come out with the Performance Max campaigns where your ads can be placed and created, your ad assets can be placed and created on different platforms across the Google network. And from my test and running, I found Performance Max to be great. It learns a lot, and it changes and makes those updates really quickly. Now, am I just going to run Performance Max and just leave it like that? No, I've found that running search campaigns and other campaigns, complementing the two, is even more effective and makes it even better. And even with the Performance Max campaigns, I still need to put in a lot of information to make those campaigns work. Even the smart campaigns, which are generally on the basic side, but still it's important to put in some input and make sure you're watching them and adjusting things as time goes. So automation is definitely not going to kill your work as a PPC specialist. It's actually going to make it more effective. You're going to bring in more great results for your clients, for your business, and so forth. And it's something that I recommend. This is a great time to get into the industry, especially because of the automation. It's making our work a lot easier. It's making it more effective. And, at the end of the day, it's about that performance and how campaigns are performing and if they're bringing in those results.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the PPC Tutor Podcast. To find out more, why not connect with us online by visiting our website at www.mikencube.co.uk. Join us again next time for more valuable tools, tips and resources helping you to kickstart your PPC career.